The Day of Transition 2013 is this upcoming Tuesday, and on this episode, I'm going to tell you how to get the most out of this or any other conference. It's the week of October 28th through November 1st, and this is the QC Step Podcast. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the QC Step Podcast. This podcast is available in audio on our website and in iTunes and Stitcher. And if you'd rather watch the video, I do them for every episode, and they're available on our YouTube channel or our website. You can connect with us through our social networking accounts. We're on Facebook at qcstep.com/Facebook, and we are at QCStep on Twitter and Instagram. As I said in the intro, the Day of Transition 2013 is this upcoming Tuesday. Many of you that are watching or listening will be attending this event that our program is hosting at Augustana College. On this episode, I'm going to give you 4 tips on getting the most out of the Day of Transition. However, if you're not attending the Day of Transition, this information would apply to any conference or seminar that you would go to. Before we get into that though, let's take a look at this week's job leads. I post these job leads at qcstep.com on Monday mornings, so you can go there and see who's hiring, and if the business has online applications, I put the link right there so you can apply with them straight from our website. The Hy-Vee in Rock Island is looking for a bakery clerk. The Old Navy in Davenport is hiring. The Best Buy in Moline is looking for seasonal cashiers and sales support. Lowe's in Davenport is looking for a weekend sales team. You have to be 18 for that. Red Robin in Davenport is looking for dishwashers. You'd need to be 18 for that too. And Panera Bread in Moline is hiring hourly associates. And Target in Moline is hiring seasonal workers. We do have a few job leads for our graduates. Gander Mountain in Davenport is hiring maintenance associates, and the Panera and Bread in Moline is hiring a night baker. Like I've been saying for the last month or so, just because I don't list a business doesn't mean that they're not hiring. These are just the businesses that are hiring that I'm aware of. Retail businesses are hiring for the holidays, and in episode number 39, I gave you 5 reasons you should work a retail seasonal job. In episode number 40, I gave you 6 tips for finding seasonal employment. In episode number 41, I gave you 5 tips on filling out online applications. And in episode number 42, I gave you 4 tips for following up on those applications. If you would like help with these applications or any others, you can email me, info@qcstep.com, and I will pass it on to Gary or Carrie, depending on which school you go to. I've been talking about the Day of Transition 2013 for the last few episodes, and since this is the last episode before the event, I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to get the most out of the Day of Transition. If you won't be attending this event, you should still pay attention because these tips would also work for any conference or seminar that you go to, and in fact, you could even apply these tips to your classes at school. The first tip for getting the most out of the Day of Transition is to pay attention. This seems like a no-brainer, but there will be a lot of distractions at this event. You'll be in a new environment, and you'll be surrounded by a lot of your friends and a lot of students from other schools. There will be plenty of opportunities for distraction. But if you're attending this event to learn things that will help you transition from high school to life after high school, you should take this serious and pay attention. The second tip for getting the most out of the Day of Transition is to take notes. Every student that attends this conference will get a QC Step portfolio. These are yours to keep and to use in your employment search. Because you will receive this, you don't need to worry about bringing any materials on Tuesday. In the portfolio is a pad of paper, and I would encourage you to take notes during the sessions. I was just at a conference last week, and I take notes during sessions because there's no way that I would remember everything if I didn't. The purpose of conferences is to give you information, and conferences can be a little overwhelming because of the amount of information that you're receiving. So trust me when I say that you won't be able to remember everything, and you should take notes. The third tip for getting the most out of the day of transition is to be engaged. Presenters may ask you questions as an audience and answer their questions. Everyone in the room will benefit from the sharing of information. I believe that every presenter will probably ask the audience if they have any questions. If you have any questions at all, ask them. Like I said, the whole room will benefit from your questions. The fourth tip for getting the most out of the day of transition is to review your notes a few days after the conference. If you review your notes a few days later, you will be able to organize and prioritize your notes. You will find that some of your notes aren't important, and just after a few days, you'll be surprised to go through them and find something that you had already forgotten about. What it all boils down to is that you can get the most out of the day of transition in any other conference or really any learning situation if you take it seriously, avoid distractions, and keep your thoughts and notes organized. Next week, I will tell you how to take the information that you learned at the day of transition and use it to help you with your employment goals. Well, that does it for this week's episode. I'm looking forward to the Day of Transition conference, and hopefully I've given you some useful tips for you to get the most out of it. During each session, you will be given evaluation forms to fill out, and we would like your feedback. What did you like most about the conference and each speaker, and what did you like least? Your input will help us know what we did right and what we did wrong, and if we decide to do a Day of Transition 2014, we'll be able to make it even better with your input. So thank you for watching, listening, and downloading, and I will see many of you on Tuesday, but I'll also be back next week with another episode of the QC Step Podcast.